What's up, guys? It's your boy GP from DeOrganized Media, bringing you another awesome episode of DeOrganized Nightly, where we get your favorite Giga Brain Astronaut Scholars together, have an awesome conversation, discuss all the alpha and news going on, kick out high-frequency vibes, and have a good time. I hope you guys have had a very, very blessed week. Sorry about last night. It was my sister's birthday. We did not get home until later than expected, so I unfortunately had to miss last night's episode. Well, we got some Chads in the house tonight, and we're going to get into some juicy alpha with Boost X. We're also going to be talking with Jackman Switch about some Hermeticus alpha, and we're going to kick out the high frequency vibes with our beloved Peace Love Music. Gosh, love that guy. And big shout out to our crypto dude building Boost X for us. I've got some bookmarks for us to take a look at, so let's get straight into it. Let me share my screen with you guys and discuss some alpha. So let me get into my bookmarks real quick. Forgive me, didn't have them pulled straight up, but here we go right here. So I made this little thread. So earning yield while you trade perps, that's wild. We have so many ways to earn in the Stacks ecosystem, including trading perps to earn passive yield. You can now earn 5% on your USDH while in a futures position on Bellar. Big ol' shout out to the Hermetica squad. So we'll get into this in a little bit. We'll save this for later, but look at this graphic. This Giga Pepe his mind is blown. Unheard of. You're earning 5% on a stable in a long position. It's crazy. It's nuts. Getting straight into it from the DeOrganized Media account. DeOrganized Morning Crypto News, April 10th. Your daily dose of top crypto financial news, key updates. Let's get you caught up. Trump's family stable sparks political headache. The Trump family's involvement in launching a stable via World Liberty Financial is making waves. GOP lawmakers are uneasy, fearing it could derail bipartisan crypto regulation efforts. The Genius Bill is moving forward, but tension is rising. Very, very true. Paul Atkins confirmed as SEC chair. The Senate has approved Paul Atkins as the new SEC chair, 5244. Known for supporting clearer crypto regulations, Atkins inherits a struggling agency and could shift the SEC's approach toward decentralization and clarity. DOJ shuts down crypto crime unit in a major shift. The DOJ is dismantling its national cryptocurrency enforcement team. This move reflects Trump's pro-crypto stance, refocusing enforcement on violent crimes involving crypto, not industry actors. Based. All of it is based. If you want to, you can go rewatch the episode, the Let's Go morning show from this morning. You can find the show schedule on deorganized.media. Go set up your profile. Be early. Support the different people supporting you and the ecosystem bringing you the alpha. Big shout out to the guys. Getting into some other stuff. So this is what I was talking about. Hermetica earned 5% USDH yield while trading on Bellar's perp tags. Here you can follow him here at Hermetica 5. I said 5. This is one of a kind in DeFi. Trade Bitcoin with leverage while earning a passive yield. Now exclusively on the SBTC USDH pair. If you're not in yet, what are you waiting for? Earn 5% USDH yield. I say it and it just blows my mind again. Unheard of. Very cool. Stacking DAO spotlights. This time we're diving into Stacking DAO's live services on Stacks and seeing what's coming next. So multiple services have been introduced to offer the best stacking experience. 2 liquid stacking tokens, STSDX BTC and STSDX, native stacking pool, stacking tracker. Let's take a closer look at each one and how they made Stacking DAO the largest Stacks DeFi app. STSDX liquid stacking token, immediate yield, no loss when switching from other pools, earning up to 10% APY and auto compounding STX reward. STSDX equals deposited STX plus STX rewards. Most integrated asset in Stacks with over 45% of STSDX liquidity across DeFi. and they put this cool infographic together with Mr. Smacks. Mr. Smacks is the guy, if you didn't know. Get into the Stacking DAO Discord and learn about him. SDSDX BTC liquid stacking token, earning up to 10% APY paid in SBTC in users' wallets. One STSDX BTC equals one STX. Immediate yield, no loss when switching from other pools. SDSDX BTC, SDSDX switch, seamlessly switch between liquid staked tokens. SDSDX BTC integrated with Stacks DeFi. So, and they also put another awesome infographic here showing how rewards are, earning the yield, all of that. Why SDSDX and SDSDX BTC are the leading liquid stacking tokens options with 11% of the stacking market share. Immediate yield design makes it easier for stackers to switch over. Decentralized signers set 10 plus signers help increase security and confidence. Extensive DeFi integration. So you see here, they have another infographic here, and you can see that Stacking DAO SDSDX is accepted across most solutions and immediate yield, payout assets, auto compounding yield, decentralized signer asset, earn points, extensive DeFi integration, and same with SDSDX BTC. Native pool. There are many stacking pools, but Stacking DAO differentiates itself. 0% fees. Minimizing yield loss is key when stacking for long term. Stacking DAO points are given out for native stackers too. Stacking tracker. So you can go to stacking tracker.com. All things related to stacking have been grouped into one website and made available to the community. The website included info and insights on stacking positions, liquid stack tokens, liquid staking protocols, stack signers, you name it, they got it. Why do these products matter for stacks? Liquid stacking is the largest DeFi vertical on any chain, and it's a key primitive to unlock DeFi liquidity, offering all kinds of stacking flavors combined with optimal integrations and UX paved the way for becoming the largest stacks app. What's coming next for Stacking DAO? Stacking DAO is currently exploring products related to BTC staking to unlock more Bitcoin liquidity. The goal is to move forward with the protocol mission as the ultimate Bitcoin stacking hub. In conclusion, Stacking DAO's fast growth stems from launching stacking products that appeal to various users. The protocol's mission is to keep offering the best stacking experience on Stacks and Bitcoin with new features and products. And yes, it is where it's at. We love Peace Love Music here. So definitely go follow Stacking DAO at Stacking DAO and get into the know, get to know these products and start earning yield. Moving on, from CoinDesk, the buzz around a vault that gave hyperliquid stakers a yield is waning, following its response to a price manipulation exploit. We'll talk a little bit about this during the show. And from Zest Protocol, SBTC, STX, and stablecoins are the core assets for stacks to thrive. Zest is the protocol that brings them to life in DeFi, and here's why Zest will be one of the activating capital and igniting Stacks DeFi season. Let's get into that, and I will like and share that right here. Boom, boom. And then if you want to follow along, follow them at Zest Protocol. For Stacks to thrive, it needs to unlock DeFi liquidity across three assets. STX, 15% of stacks or stacked STX is now liquid via Stacking DAO. SBTC, Zest Protocol has attracted 16% of available SBTC. That's huge. Stablecoins, the lifeblood of DeFi, with Hermeticify leading the charge. Zest can be the central DeFi component to drive more liquidity on stacks. Use liquid stacking tokens to borrow and use rewards to repay loans, earn sustainable BTC yield, and borrow with BTC. Activate stable liquidity by earning yield with lending. A simple strategy can summarize this concept. Mint SDSDX BTC on Stacking DAO to earn up to 10% APY in SBTC. Deposit SDSDX BTC on Zest and borrow USDH. Stake USDH on Hermetica to earn up to 25% on a stable. That's crazy. In staking rewards. Use SBTC and USDH rewards to repay the loan and stack profits. Based. In short, Zest is the key to tapping liquidity and kickstarting DeFi season on Stacks. All the three assets needed to make Stacks thrive can be activated via Zest. Lending and borrowing will be the lifeblood of Bitcoin DeFi for a long, long time. Big shout out to Zest. I am the community manager in the Zest Discord. Go ahead and join the Zest Discord. We have the Zest meme coin sprint going on. Big shout out to our founder, our community founders that have gotten into, have sponsored it to happen. We've got prizes for grabs. Big shout out to Jack Van Switch, Silky Jones, Zenatron, Rubes, and Stacking DAO for making the Zest meme coin sprint happen. You guys are awesome. Get into the Discord, guys. Plenty of opportunities for you guys. From BoostX. BoostX V1.5.5 is live on the Chrome store. You can now send NFTs directly on X. Just like tokens, transfers are quick and smooth. This is the beginning of what we have in store for NFTs. So got a little link there. You can follow BoostX at BoostX_app. Get in the know, download the extension, and start interacting with Stacks directly from X. From Cointelegraph, new ETH gas prices hit a new all-time low. At the end of March, monthly gas prices reached an average of 2.71 Gwei. This is roughly 6x less than the end of 2024, and as you can see, it is at a new all-time low on this infographic they have right here. New monthly all-time low. Less and less people are using ETH. They are going to more affordable options with bigger yield opportunities, right? And maybe even some of them are coming to a more secure network with Bitcoin finality and fully decentralized. I wonder what network I'm talking about. Market. The S&P 500 is volatile as Bitcoin now. Bloomberg senior ETF and analyst Eric Balachunas from that he's, yeah, there you go. He said it. So yeah, that's crazy to think that the S&P is as volatile as Bitcoin. Wild. Today, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent met with the Deputy Prime Minister Ho Duc Phoc of Vietnam to discuss trade negotiations. So here we go here. And there's a 90-day pause on tariffs, except for China. China's got a 125% tariff. New former president of PayPal and founder of Lightspark, David Marcus, says all non-transactional apps should connect to Bitcoin. Are we going to see some stuff from the PayPal mafia? I don't know. Florida's Insurance and Banking House Committee unanimously passed the HB 487. HB 487 allows for investments of public funds in Bitcoin. That's huge. More and more states adopting Bitcoin. Latest, Swedish MP Rickard Norden has asked the Swedish finance minister to consider including Bitcoin in the Riksbank reserve. So yeah, there we go. I mean, I just said it. Nations and states adopting Bitcoin. New Hampshire House has voted to pass HB 302. The bill is now off to the state Senate. If enacted, the bill will allow the state to invest in Bitcoin. You see the state flag here, and you see Bitcoin here. Really, really bullish. Just in, World Liberty 5 moves $775K to a wallet they typically use for altcoin purchases. Do we see altcoin season right around the corner? I don't know. I've seen people calling for 70% Bitcoin dominance on the timeline. I don't know. Who knows? Stacks developers. If you want to follow this to stay in the know, it's at Stacks Devs. There's a proposal on the Stacks forum to remove the POX cooldown cycle aimed at making stacking more flexible and less costly. No more waiting a full cycle to switch pools or update your settings. Key changes and thoughts. And we can maybe get into this a little bit later. I don't want to keep the guys waiting too much longer. And then this was also interesting. Here's a Bitcoin chart you've never seen before. It estimates market price by assuming people usually send Bitcoin transactions with even dollar amounts. No exchanges, just pure on-chain data revealing hidden price signals directly from transaction sizes. That is something that I've never seen, and maybe the UTXO Oracle is being live might be a thing that we want to look into. Just a new tool. But yeah, there's plenty of news to discuss. Let's bring the guys on and get straight into it. Yeah. So let me stop sharing my screen, bring the guys up, and we can get into it. We've got Jack Ben Switch in the house. We've got Crypto Dude, and we also have our beloved Peace Love Music. Guys, happy Thursday. How are we doing today?
Good morning.
GM, or good evening.
GM, it's a little late.
Yeah.
Look, that's just my general greeting.
Yeah.
It is. I could not stop butchering people's names in this news segment. I was laughing to myself. But it happens. I was reading a little too fast, I guess.
That's what they get for having a hard to pronounce name.
Oh, yeah. Why? They chose their name, right?
Yeah, their parents cursed them.
Yeah. No, we
choose your kid's
they
name wisely.
They need to all move to BNS, like old Crypt Titty. And
Sir Cunnilingus.
I was trying to think.
Dude, we onboarded Sir Cunnilingus from what was it, a night show or a morning show? I think it was a night show. Big shout out to Sir Cunnilingus. I gave him BNS.
Yeah. No, they just need to all move to BNS, man. That's all.
Yeah, BNS V2 for the win. Which there's a proposal pending right now. People can get their little 2 cents in if they want, but they're looking to add a little bit of update to the essentially the zone file data, make things a little bit more
file data for people that don't know.
It's kind of like you can look at it like pointer records and if you want to have an on-chain record associated to your name of maybe like a specific social account, for like example your X profile, you can define that. So there's different records basically that you can define associated to your name and have those records live on chain basically.
I would love to have a link tree in my connected to my BNS, right? That way.
That's kind of what the name, the whole purpose of the zone file is to serve as more or less the data behind more or less like a link tree style, references basically. If you want to think about
it should be able to support whatever you want it to point to.
Exactly.
Yeah, the coolest thing about BNS is just its fundamental use case, which is serving as an online identity, right? That you have the choice to interact with. Like that's the biggest use case. Like people, everything that we do now, the way we do things now, they're changing. They're in a process of changing more and more every day. And being able to interact with blockchains, especially in social media and things like that, and being able to have a separate identity to do that, where you can be as doxed as you want to be or not doxed at all, but you give someone a way of knowing who you are based on what that BNS has done. And then when you add in reputation, like that we're seeing with Zero Authority DAO come through, it's an entire game changer,
Oh yeah, massive game changer. It's basically fully leveraging on-chain data to maximize the self-sovereignty of wallets that because you can essentially create your own wallet, spin up, set up your own new private keys, right? And then that's your kind of your base layer for your identity, and then you can add human readable names, these BNS names, to your wallet, and those make it to where that self-sovereign identity now can be more easily discovered, and it's globally uniquely discovered, so to speak. It's very critical for being able to have that modern app feel for users, because nobody wants to nobody wants to remember a long string for your payment address. Nobody wants to see that as your display name.
They want it like Web 2.
Exactly. They want that familiarity of human readable names, but they want the security of Bitcoin, and so Stacks is Stacks and BNS is killing it and delivering on that like 1,000-fold. So people's mentality just need to catch up, almost more like it, to be honest, like, because they're used to being able to, oh, I forgot my password, so I need to do an email recovery.
Right.
You know, that self-sovereign identities, you know, not your keys, not your coins, you know, not your keys, not your name, same thing.
Yeah, you got to nurture that seed phrase. You got to make sure it's like stored correctly in a like a humidor. You know what I mean? With a lock.
Or if you're paranoid about your capacity to manage your own assets, you can always leverage a multi-sig wallet like Asigna's vaults, and
True.
you know, trust a little bit of your homies to help keep your assets secure if you're wanting to take that route. You know, set up the proper threshold signature requirements in your vault, and you know, if maybe you got 5 people in there, you want to set up 3 out of 5 signature requirements. There you go. Easy way to kind of safeguard yourself, basically, from yourself.
Oh, check this out. This is I don't think you covered this on the news. I think this just came out. President Trump signs resolution overturning IRS crypto rule targeting DeFi.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude. I think I had it in my bookmarks and maybe just didn't scroll down enough. That's huge, dude. Yeah, shoot me that link. Maybe we could cover that. That's huge. Because like, yeah, put it in the hands of new people that know what they're doing with it, not people that are trying to make crypto conform to regulations that don't make sense for it, right?
Well, why would you want to conform the solution back into the problem?
Exactly.
Right.
You know?
No, and then like, look, here's the deal. Like, the big use case for DeFi is like allowing people to earn money with DeFi assets. Aside from just appreciation or the chance of appreciation for a governance token, like, does holding this token bestow some sort of ownership and therefore right to, you know, fees, yield, what have you, as a result of people using this platform? Yes or no? Is this is the idea, right? We're crypto, we're Web3, we're all these things. Like, people have to be able to, you know, legally earn money by investing in these things. Like, you earn money, you know, by getting dividends on owning a stock or whatever. Calling this kind of thing, oh, that's a security and that's this and that's other.
Is that the first crypto bill signed into law?
Oh,
Like,
I don't know.
Like,
And I mean, it might not be signed into law. It might just be a
Probably both.
executive order, you know?
Or, yeah, executive orders are a little different than signed into law from
But-
a congressional approval. But
seeing people saying that it's signed into law right now,
well, it's probably because they take executive orders as
misconstrued it. Yeah.
it just depends on what you define as signed into law at that point.
Yeah, Twitter did the whole thing like, oh, you like seeing this? Well, hey, good luck finding it. So I haven't found it since.
I actually follow somebody called Miss Teen Crypto. She's Randy Hipper, and she was like connected to a group that actually introduced me to crypto. Like I told you, like I got my start in a trading group. That's how I found crypto. So I was researching everything, and that's one of the people that they mentioned. So I followed her, and she was actually one that I saw that from. But yeah, dude, it's nuts. It is.
This was actually a resolution bill passed by Congress to repeal a rule that was put in place under the last administration.
Oh, I forgot to mention earlier when we were talking about BNS. Did you guys know that BNS V2 names are essentially like functionally following the NFT standards? So you can now even transfer BNS V2 names on Boost. Sorry, shameless plug. Cool. Steering it all back to the plug.
Oh,
nice, very nice. I didn't realize where you were going with that too. It was a really good delivery.
Yeah, it was like
getting better. Getting better.
No, but that's cool. I think the contests and all that can be made around this on social media is massive.
Yeah, you've been doing really good with it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working with Zenitron. We've been working with Zenitron to get the featured profiles set up and give the find to earn a kind of a
So I actually saw
acceptable best process.
something. Is it still on there? So at one point earlier today, I had like a little something on the right hand side of my screen on X, and it was like a apps, Stacks apps or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
featured stacks
modal
app.
from the last update.
That's
Is
from
that-
V. You haven't even been getting your updates in a timely manner, sir. If you're only seeing V 1.4.7, you should be seeing 1.5.5.
But
Yeah,
it's-
asshole.
That was the last up. That's the old news.
So it actually forced, yeah, there it is. It's on my sidebar. Featured Stacks
And
apps.
I seen GP. I seen your screen when you're sharing your bookmarks earlier, and I seen that your disconnect button on the left still said disconnect, big old fat text instead of the icon. Have you updated? You got running version 1.5.5? If so, did you hit hard refresh on your X page to
I
see the?
haven't had time to go and refresh it. I was gonna refresh it live. Like just go ahead.
Yeah, it should auto update your extension more than likely for you.
Oh, so then I just need to. What do I need to do to?
Just hit F5 on X,
Oh,
probably.
yeah. Let me hit up F5 right quick and see what.
I have 1.5.5.
Good
see
eye.
the-
It still says
I
disconnect.
just read this morning.
Is there an icon on the button though?
There's like an X wallet.
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay, GP is not updated yet, but it sounds like Peace is updated.
Next to the disconnect button, there's a wallet that has an X on it.
Okay.
Exactly. So I created those icons for it. So and I've made it to where when it's collapsed, when it's you're like on half screen view, so to speak, and it's got the sidebar kind of shrunk. I've got the adaptive size refactored there and doing
I'll show
icon
it.
only.
I'll show it real
Yeah.
quick. That's it right there.
I got it now. Yeah, dude. You're cleaning up that UI, dude, and
So
making
if
that.
And this is the Stacks apps.
If you resize your window to like half screen, you'll see that the button on the left hand side drops the text even. It's just the icon. Kind of thought that was kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude. That's slick. Dude,
Oh.
you've really been
That was
shipping.
a pain in the ass to do. that was a fucking annoying thing to do. So
I'd
it's not
imagine like the lettering on the model, the modal that shows all the featured Stacks D apps as well
Mhm.
was like having that scale was probably a pain in the ass too.
yeah, there was quite a bit in terms of styling to get those balanced because like I don't know if you've ever seen the CSS meme, but it's basically like somebody trying to use the Windows blinds, when you're trying to pull up the Windows blinds and it never quite goes right the first time and you got to fiddle part with the thing until you get it right. Like it's literally that in real life,
Like
right?
Peter Griffin trying to put the blinds up.
That's literally it, dude. It's literally it.
Like being a realtor and going into a house anytime there's blinds.
Exactly, dude. So CSS is most definitely kind of one of those things you got to fiddle fart with until you get it dialed in. But okay, that's fine. Go for it.
Got the little ones chiming in for a second.
Here, turn it up. There you go.
Yeah, dude. I'm really excited about the being able to send NFTs now. Now that I just updated mine, I've got it showing the icon and all that stuff. So I'm good to go. I got 1.5.5 downloaded.
Let's go. Yeah, you can select and transfer NFTs just as easy. You could do it with the tokens now.
Not that I want to send anybody my invaders because I don't. But
Probably couldn't though.
but would they work? Would they work with the invaders?
Probably not. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's not a SIP 9, so probably not.
What
It'd be
is
interesting to see what it looked like.
like? Is it a SIP anything? Like, what is it? Is it SIP DMT or like what's the name of that?
There's no SIP for it. No, it's just
Sorry, I got disconnected there for a sec. Can you repeat that?
We were just talking about how
the Stacks invaders aren't SIP 9 standard NFTs. Whoop.
oh, we lost them.
Here we go. I'll bring him right back up. Hold on. Got him right here. So we'll repeat it one more time and one more time only, Crypto.
I know. I feel so privileged here.
So the Stacks invaders are not SIP 9 standard because they were encoded to be a DMT style mint based on minting the blocks and stuff like that. So would they function with BoostX to send in the sending NFTs, or would that actually require some kind of
Let me double check the contract really quick. Hold on.
I don't know, man. What's really cool right now, aside from all of these things, like where we're integrating socials into what we're doing here on Stacks, but to see DeFi shaping up the way it is past DeFi primitives, we're in a great spot, and people just aren't paying attention right now.
That's it. They're just not paying attention, right? Like, could you imagine earning 5% on your USDH, right, for taking a futures position on the Bellar Perpdex and doing that utilizing BoostX?
That's wild. Like you see now, you see what? Okay, so basically, and look, I'm not telling you what to do because.
And so to answer your question really quick about the invaders, you should be able to send invaders.
Cool.
Yeah, the transfer method follows the same schema, so you're good.
We should do we should make a collection to like just from base level NFT collection to experiment with BoostX and send to like new people in the community and stuff,
just an onboard NFT collection.
Is there a Stacks Invader specific Twitter profile account? Right, there is, right?
Oh no, there's a community run account, but
yeah,
it's
fan account.
Yeah,
I would call that a fan.
Unofficial. Yeah, it's not official.
So that's something we should think about adding, and then we could do a featured profile, and then have kind of a custom modal rendered, and then people could go in there and mint that collection if you're. Yeah, we could do it that way.
What I was doing earlier, can we get into?
They could mint it through the profile.
Yeah, go to a specific profile page, see a specific new injected button that's unique to that profile page, and click that, opens a custom modal. In this instance, we're talking about basically an NFT collection modal, and then have the capacity to mint right there from the profile page on X.
Stacks Invaders page, yeah.
That's cool.
What if we wanted to do like an onboard reward from DeOrganized for like viewers, like people watching? They can actually just go to the DeOrganized page, click on a thing, mint an NFT that we're sponsoring for them that shows that they're watching the show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what it's all about. We're trying to build out the functionality and bring the Stacks chain closer to the users where they're at on, there a lot of the users are on X, right? Obviously. And so bring it right to their doorstep, give them like, we can even present the button to open the modal. Like, so basically we call this the profile button. Basically, we can present that button to users even conditionally based on if they follow the account first. So you follow, then you see that additional button. So it's kind of like gating the access to the mint behind a follow.
So they have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And they also they have to have BoostX down there.
Yeah, they have to have BoostX to see the additional button and the additional modals. But this basically gives them a reason. Like, artists can basically request to be a featured profile, get their collection listed on X basically via BoostX. Then they just tell users to get BoostX, and they go to their profile and they can mint their NFTs. Whether or not they want them to follow first or not, that's kind of up to the artist. But we can do it either or. We can have the button just always there, or make them where they have to follow first, and then you see the new button.
Like an opt-in, opt-out feature for that, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. The conditional render.
Yeah.
What we should do? We should see if figure out the design for the NFT, right? Like, but you think back to like the great NFT collections on Stacks that have like, the different logos for the different, protocols and so forth, and create a collection around that, get some sponsorship from the different protocols to support the NFT collection, pay some artists, get some artists to make some money, and
we can even take it a step further. We can even take it a step further and take the the actual payment address for the mints to land in a Signa wallet vault, and then you could have all those artists be a member of that vault. And so basically they're all, you could essentially queue up transactions via the vault, so the artist collective could kind of coordinate how they spend that earnings as a group if they wanted. Obviously you could do it individually if you wanted to take that route and like split the payments upon payment being received. But if you wanted to like have like more of a,
well, you could put a split towards a community fund.
Exactly. You could take half of it and then have that half be governed, so to speak, via the vault. You know, kind of like a spontaneous DAO mixed with funding via an NFT mint.
If only we knew somebody who was an artist and also had an artist collective too.
I know. Who is that? Who's that guy?
Should the organized logo be like a microphone that is kind of like human looking or alien looking, or I think there's a lot to work with here.
Oh yeah, this is the tip of the iceberg on these featured profiles, because we're talking about basically featuring NFT collections right now, but we could do featured integrations with other things. Like we're also, like I said previously, that's some Mexican rice.
Well, we could do like Stacks Invaders themed NFTs, X amount of them, X amount of Gigapeppy themed NFTs, X amount of Megapon Ape. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that makes the whole collection.
Like re-swing pool pieces, get some Degen Girl-esque pieces in there.
So, sorry, I was interrupted again by the kiddos, but the I was saying, like we were talking about featured profiles, having NFT collections accessible and mintable directly on the profiles, right? And then, we can also kind of work with other projects and dApps, and like, so we're working on doing the Nakamoto One treasure chest. So when people go to the Nakamoto One profile page, they'll click on the little treasure chest button that's being injected there just for their profile page. That opens the modal that's going to have the balance of, the treasure chest for the STX assets and Bitcoin, of course, not other chains, but, kind of keeping it relatively simple to present. And then a contribute button, so the way users can contribute to the vault or to the treasure chest that's on the literal moon, right? So people will be able to actually not even have to leave X to be able to send tokens to the moon, literally. So, we're also doing the same thing with Skullcoin's Find Earn. I've been working with Zenitron to help smooth the sign up process over. So basically, users will go to the Skullcoin profile page. They'll click on a little skull icon up near the top. It opens the Skullcoin quest modal. They'll click accept quest. That basically, if they're fast enough, anyways, they'll be it's going to be based there. He wants a constraint of 50 participants per quest maximum. So basically, it's going to be a little bit of a race to get there to accept the quest, but then accepting the quest will put your name on the hat, so to speak, on chain and prove that you got your name in there in time. And then he'll be able to take those names, add them to the whitelist for their guys' tweets for the Find to Earn games, right? And then obviously the reward will still be issued out via BoostX, but basically we're going to help procure the whitelists via accepting quests on chain to help users it'll help create demand for Skullcoin, because to accept the quest you'll have to send Skullcoin too. So it's going to do a lot for increasing the fun factor. Increasing the fun factor, like, that'll be one little experience you can experience on X that's kind of accessible, like if you're in the know and you know where to go.
Did you say proof of fund or
proof of fun? Proof of fun.
Proof of fun is such a based concept. Proof of fun, dude. Find to Earn and proof of fun. Wow.
Yeah, you can only do so much DeFi. Like that's the thing. DeFi's huge. It's going to bring tons of volume and tons of users, but you still need other stuff to do, because at the end of the day, people like crypto, and you need to capture that audience. You need to capture that user. You need to retain these people, and you do that through other applications. Like crypto's fun. Like trading is fun. All of these things are fun, and they all work together. And that's why you need so many different things going on in an ecosystem.
To speak to that, and also speak to kind of Peace's question earlier about what could be done for the DeOrganized profile page. It doesn't have to be directly necessarily like a mint button to call a function contract. It could also just be a link to specific apps like the DeOrganized games and the the DeOrganized.media. If you're wanting to have kind of a little bit of a landing, like almost like a built-in link tree, so to speak, type of thing right there, that we can take that route too. It doesn't have to be obviously we want wherever the user is going to have some sort of DApp experience, right? Whether or not it's right there on X or whether or not it's through the third-party site that you guys are running, that's up to you guys. How you want to define the context of what's presented in that modal.
Right. You could just have the link, or you could have the direct mint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you could send them to the profile page for the Organized X account, but there's a button that they click that opens the link or opens the modal for where the mint happens, which could actually be a separate page on another website or
exactly. So you could have the mint button be in app right there on X, directly calling the smart contract function via X, so to speak, or you could have the mint button lead to your site if you're wanting them to mint it from there, or you could have the mint button be on X and then have a link to your site as well. So 2 different buttons, one so that way users have a little bit of optionality. There's multiple ways to skin the cat, so to speak here. It's just about procuring the featured profile's intention more than anything of what they want to see on that modal, and then working with them. So these are featured profiles. It's not going to be it's not just going to be an open door for everybody to get involved. Like, this is something that's going to require time on our behalf to get integrated, and so we want to seek out high value targets and make the most of the engagement that way, right? And so
you want to make out with high value targets. What?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or make out with you guys.
Dude, you're building the change, like you like to say, and the thing that is interesting, the way that you're doing it, you're doing it in a way that empowers everybody around you. So it's not necessarily like you're pointing out what everybody else is doing using BoostX instead of just doing what everybody else is doing with BoostX. You know what I mean? So like people will still be interacting with these protocols, these different artists, these just through X via BoostX. And I love the way that you've approached that. Like it really is a cool way to like include everybody that is interested.
Yeah, what's going to be really cool? When people start using BoostX to like launch things, like, and not just NFT collections, tokens, all these kind of things, right? Like I think
you're talking about starting like just goals or whatever in terms of like funding and like the spontaneous organization you're talking about.
Not even just DAOs, right? DAOs, sure, but what like meme coins, things like that, or like, hey, I want to, because I think it was Jake Blockchain that had a post about it, about how like a lot of teams are now just like going in without VC backing, and they're just going in like solo founder with like AI. And I think there's a way, I think we're going to see investment into startups become democratized through crypto, right? And I think that like integrating BoostX with things like that could also be huge.
That's 100% on point, man.
Yeah,
that's where it's all heading. It's all about heading towards lowering the barrier to entry to have access to finance and like essentially come up, and gonna tease a little alpha here, but a Signa wallet is a multi-sig wallet, right? People should be kind of familiar with that. Signa is a multi-sig wallet on Stacks, and we're wanting to leverage that with BoostX, so that way users can kind of create their spontaneous DAOs and create a vault for them, and then kind of create an account on X and kind of collaboratively align their incentives, right? Collaboratively work together and have an alignment of incentives, because the funds are essentially group managed through your vault on with Asigna. And so if you guys want to fund certain things through X, or you want to discuss certain, like it creates
charity, charity, because crypto and
Exactly.
charity go together hand in hand.
Exactly.
Right.
And so that's crazy you just mentioned that, because imagine, if you will, for a moment, like profile pages that have a featured profile, and it's for a specific organization that also has a multi-sig vault. So basically that profile page has a custom modal that's maybe about minting NFTs, and that's funding that vault. It's providing input into that vault. And then all the users that are members of that vault also have their BNS names owned by that vault, and then they have their display names updated on X. And so basically all the content that they're creating, that when they're getting boosted, is all funding that same vault. And then when they're wanting to deploy or spend some of that capital as a group, they can, one of them can use boost X basically to invoke a transaction, and that kind of queues it up in their vault for the other members of the vault to kind of co-sign or whatever, so that way it finishes the transaction. And so it creates this alignment there between members of a vault, right, to kind of collaborate and work together. And then the kind of the kicker here, the kind of like that, I guess you'd say the icing on the cake, is that feature that I've been talking about for a while, which I've just kind of called variable charities, for microfunding, kind of. I haven't really given it a good name, but it's basically a list of principal addresses that you can configure in your options of the extension that would microfund as you're doing your boost. It's going to, give a little dust over here to these different payment addresses you have defined in that list. And now imagine if those list of payment addresses are vaults, basically, for different organizations. So, charities that are managed via vault, multi-sig charities, basically. You're essentially at that point, we're essentially really, rendering the social contract obsolete and replacing it with smart contracting at that point. Literally.
Yeah. You could, or just imagine like a builder comes on DeOrganized and is like, hey, this is what I'm building. This is what I want to build. And, you can get equity right now, via BoostX, right?
Exactly.
Like you can see it go in that direction easily,
Running DAOs directly from X is blowing my mind. It is blowing my mind, dude.
Yeah, that it's been blowing my mind like all day. I'm over here thinking because wait a second, you could do wait a second, then you could do wait a second, then you could oh my god.
So is this something that you're actively working on right now?
Yeah, we got code already implemented to connect the Signal wallet, and basically we've got it all the way up to the point where we're just now debugging the final signature for, because when users are signing a transaction, they're signing it with their Signal wallet rather than, like their Leather or whatnot. So we just need to ensure that the proper wallet is being communicated with. And then, at that point, it pretty much is done in terms of functionality. There's going to be obviously ways to improve the user experience for like organizational purposes and like informational purposes or whatever, but I think that could be so freaking huge. It's insane. You're really creating a whole framework for an alignment of incentives with like in a DAO form that doesn't have much friction to get started, right? And it has a wide audience right there at their tips because of X, right? And that's the main problem with DAOs. DAOs are like decentralized autonomous organizations that are, trying to fulfill a product, good, or service need or whatnot, and they often need funding, but the hardest part for them is to get enough eyeballs on their project to be able to get the funding, right? And, grow the venture, so to speak. And, that's where having the eyeballs of X could be insanely valuable to helping DAOs get superpowers, basically.
you're putting it right in front of the users, the people that would be interested in joining a DAO. You know what I mean? It's like instead of hey, go join the Discord to get the information, or hey, go join the Telegram, or whatever.
The DAO is going to be run by AI agents that are going to actually go out to X.
But yeah, there's so many opportunities here when you start adding AI into the mix too. Oh my goodness, it gets crazy.
Yeah, because what Rafa is building is he's building runes DAOs with Factory. So it's going to be really crazy to kind of see that go down.
Yeah, Rafa and I have been talking. He's wanting to get his bit sticks, or beefy. I'm not sure what he wants to call it. He kind of uses beefy swap and bit sticks kind of interchangeably in there or whatever. Yeah. But basically, he's wanting to have users be able to essentially spend or pay Bitcoin and define a STX address in the op return, and then basically have the the BTC converted into SBTC, kind of all in one transaction for the users, so they can convert, get into SBTC and get on the Stacks network with SBTC with their Bitcoin, right? And so he wants to have that integrated into BoostX, so we can.
So
just basically
a permissionless SBTC bridge.
Yeah, right there on the X. So, we're discussing the ins and outs of that still, and there's a couple different ways that could be surfaced to the users, and part of me wants to leverage this featured profiles concept for it, because it kind of fits the premise well, because it's a Stacks project, and it's offering a unique service, and it should be discoverable obviously somewhere, but we don't obviously want to play too much favoritism on application or functional interfaces, right? And so having it discoverable at the profile page, like a BT swaps or whatever, it would be kind of a good compromise to give the users the ability to find it, get it done, and then also still not play too much favoritism there.
Right. No gatekeeping really. It's just like, you're really trying to make sure that it's a very solid, you're trying to, it comes from a place of like keeping it secure.
Yeah, exactly. And, also being fair to competition, because there's nothing to stop somebody else from wanting to have a similar service at that point, and then also wanted to see that integrated on BoostX. And then if I'm like now playing favorites with one, then I got to sell them now. So putting it at their profile level allows me to kind of remain unbiased.
That's awesome, dude. So you're taking a lot of things into account whenever you're like building and then adding new features to this. And dude, I love the way that you build out in the open. And as soon as you have like a feature shipped, you push an update, you come on the show, and then you're like, dude, this is what. And every time that we talk about like the new update, there's 1,000 new ideas that get sparked, and then implement them, dude. So it's like the coolest thing getting to see you do this like in a deorganized fashion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say something else. What was it? Oh, damn it!
I had that happen to me twice before I started the show.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
What was it? Oh, it was for the morning games and the onboarding of users. Yeah, I already touched on this. We can transfer BNS names via BoostX, but we can obviously register some names for people that don't have their name yet, and then just transfer it to them once they prove that they have a wallet. Say, hey, send me your wallet address, and then boom, update your name. There you go. There's your name.
For the newbie rounds, where like they're whitelisted to play, and then like don't even know what a BNS is yet, you have the transfer the function down packed now with this new update. That's huge. That's like giant.
Yeah, exactly. So we could really smooth that process over for onboarding somewhere too.
Just gotta get up to the wallet. Now you gotta get them to set up a wallet. How do we make setting up a wallet easier?
Well, it's ironic that you would mention that. So we actually, like if you install BoostX and you don't have a wallet installed, and you click connect, it'll still hit you with the window to connect your wallet. But since you don't have a wallet, it actually tells you to install one, right?
Okay.
technically, that is kind of what you're referring to, the onboard. How do we onboard them to get a wallet if they get BoostX first,
Instead of having to tell them, like, go to leather.io
that first.
download, you just prompt them.
There's a minor, so great observation on need. I thought I already had that fixed or finished. Discovered a minor bug with that this morning. So it technically doesn't render the modal when they don't have a wallet yet installed. It should in the near future. Like basically if they click connect and then they don't have Leather or Xverse installed or a Signa installed, then the window that would normally pop up to say connect or install one of those, that just doesn't load right now because it in essence is expecting at least some sort of default wallet. And a slight assumption on my behalf when basically we were building it, we were kind of assuming users would have a wallet first rather than maybe they might need to get one first. So
right. Well, you're building for people in stacks already, and then now you're expanding to onboarding, which is a completely different ask. So that makes sense.
Yeah, to be fair, the Stacks library, the Connect library, kind of does the heavy lifting here on this. It was just kind of a stupid implementation mistake on my behalf to kind of set a default provider when it was unnecessary. And that's actually also the reason why the Signa wallet, when we're doing the multi-sig right now for the final step of it, that's also why that's having the same problem. So it's kind of
you discovered it.
Yeah, when we discovered the problem, we also figured out, this is probably also the same cause of this other issue over here. So it's all about getting the feedback. I'm telling you, that feedback from users is so invaluable because you think you got it all, like, okay, this is all good, let's go. But then you're like, oh shit, I didn't test that edge case. Like earlier today, we thought a user wasn't able to actually connect, but it was in fact that they were just on a monitor that had such low resolution that they were like always in the collapsed view, and they didn't realize that the button was actually changing from connected to disconnected after they click connect because it was such a similar looking icon, the X versus the Stacks logo inside the icon. So they're like, oh, it's not doing anything. I'm like, actually it is. It's just you're not quite realizing what's happening.
Your screen isn't showing you the pixels the right way. Yeah, it's like I get that problem.
This is why Stacks is going to win. Like, you at the ecosystem level, look how much effort's going in onboarding people right now, right? And so you can't. How does someone who's just like, hey, we've got a bunch of money from VCs and we want to have our L2 and this, that, and the other. We've got no community, so we've got no users, but we've got a lot of money. And here you have Stacks. It's like, well, you've got users who've been around the block and who are just like, hey, we're building this for the community.
Well, and you know what it is? Those guys that just have money and no actual users, no community, what they'll end up doing is hiring some KOLs.
Yeah, they will.
And then just throwing money at onboarding users by just giving users, like just giving stuff away.
Right.
So there won't be any actual engagement or interactivity, and then those users will be short-term users. They won't.
And it goes a deep step further too. Those KOLs will hire bots and then chat bots.
Right.
And,
those KOLs will actually bot things to make it look like they have a more.
And then it's fake hype, and it's no real users.
So you guys are talking about the lack of skin in the game for proof.
Yes.
And that's actually something BoostX helps solve. So,
absolutely. Well, it does on its face. It gives us the ability to actually make sure people. You can't really bot using all of this stuff together.
Exactly. I mean, you could potentially with agents in the future, but I mean, if the bots are actually spending real money at that point, who cares, right? So they're
spending it on behalf of somebody.
Exactly. So it's all about skin in the game, to avoid disproportionate extraction basically, and having the network effect from the skin in the game is critical for long-term sustainability of the decentralized ecosystems. And like, we have a lot of technology on Stacks that is so well positioned from a technological point of view that it's actually insane how much is possible. Like, the capabilities, I mean, we have the capacity to basically build a decentralized internet, like one app at a time right now. Like, it's the Like, it's the future.
That's what I feel like is
Wake
happening.
the fuck up.
Yeah, and then like I've said this a few different times, like many times actually, that WASM upgrade is going to change the way that devs are onboarded into the ecosystem. They don't have to learn Clarity after that upgrade. They can come in their own native language and just do what they need to do, build what they need to build. So like it's going to get very wild very fast, and you're going to see, like they're saying STX season is like app season is now, but like when that WASM upgrade happens, I believe we have a whole nother boom. Like it's going to be another boom happen.
Absolutely.
So it's going to get really nuts. We're going to have a lot of things to do with our stacks in Bitcoin.
It'll actually make transaction speed more efficient too, from what I'm told. And there's also, dude, I'm actually curious if you've really looked into what Larry's doing with the using Bitcoin addresses for stacks transactions, like just using.
Yeah, Larry Celebra. Yeah, I've known Larry for a long time. So yeah, he's basically he's able to convert like Bitcoin addresses into stacks addresses because, you know, essentially you can have them derived from the same private keys, right? And you can essentially create there's a process basically to convert one into the other and vice versa. And so he's leveraging that, and what he's doing is freaking amazing. Like it's really like lowering that perception of the L2 to the L1 maxis, I guess you'd say.
Right.
And
it's actually, it really is like just transacting on Bitcoin because you're using the same address.
Exactly.
How does that change what you're building at all? Or is it just a matter of, because you're still just ultimately going to a stacks address, it's just on the functional level, the user doesn't have to know what the stacks address is, but the contracts can still differentiate. Like there still is a stacks address.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all a proof, right? At the end of the day, so to speak. So like the wallet that you have is, you know, you're signing transactions with your private key, right? And then so you have public keys though that are essentially obviously part of your wallet that users can send to, right? And so having the multiple, you know, paths, so to speak, to generate different public keys, that's pretty common. But what the like, I guess you'd say the innovation here is being able to translate it from the L1 to the L2, kind of, I guess you'd say, kind of behind the scenes for the user, and then kind of obfuscate that process away. And, you know, that's most definitely great for lowering the friction, adding the value to basically those users that prefer to stay in that format, so to speak. That's kind of the way I look at it. It's just a different format, really, to me. I mean, I look at L1 and L2 as like Bitcoin and stacks. It's almost the same fucking thing. Like, it's just
it's like a point
different format.
It's not even a layer 2. It's like it's 1.5, a layer 1.5 or something. I've heard people like you and others say.
Yeah, my history in networking as like a network admin and ISP and stuff like that. Like, I've dealt with a lot of different private networks, and then, you know, those communicating different ways and using different protocols. So like the whole concept to me is kind of like fairly like familiar in that sense. And so getting the I guess the users to kind of be able to transition from the one network to the other network and back without really even realizing that they left the first network, that's like the way I look at it as the innovation here on what Larry's doing, because that will give them that peace of mind, you know, because I mean, it's all about settlement, and Bitcoin, since Stacks is settling on Bitcoin, the settlement's all good, and so just really the user experience is what they care about at that point. And, you know, removing that fear of the L2 if those maxis have it.
Right. So it just makes the narrative of stacks and Bitcoin being the same that much more present.
Exactly.
Facts.
Very cool stuff. I have to go take care of a puppy, gentlemen, but it's always a pleasure just listening to you guys even. And thank you for entertaining my questions and my input. You guys have a great night.
Tell
Later,
Buddy
man.
I said, hey, man, have a good one, man.
Will do. He's kind of turned into a little bit of a fucker, by the way. Like he keeps
Puppy, dude. So he's doing the fucker puppy thing.
death, but he's kind of a dick. So I'll see you guys later.
Good luck.
Later.
Later. Yeah, man. I really appreciate you being able to like build in the capacity that you do and building for the users and like keeping the users in mind, like narrowing the gap between Bitcoin and stacks. And I love that, dude. BoostX is quickly becoming like the go-to app to connect protocols together, to do your giveaways, to protect these content creators. It does it all. And I love that it's almost like a Swiss Army knife, right? Like it's crazy to think of what capabilities you have whenever you're interacting with the blockchain directly from X. So I think that it's awesome, bro. And I'm very excited about maybe being a featured, like having like a
not maybe. It's happening. There's no maybe about that. So, no maybes.
Well, I appreciate you, sir. And that's like one of those things. Is like my main goal was like when you first started coming on, I was like, dude, I realized the brilliance of what you're doing. So like, it's gonna help us all in ways that we don't even know. People, they don't realize what can be built within a year, much less 5. So like, it's gonna be crazy. People are like, where's liquidity? Liquidity is dry everywhere. Nobody has money, so things will get better. And the thing is that the builders are giving me my signal that I should keep chipping away, keep chugging along, and doing what I can do to help, which is this. In a decentralized, permissionless environment, we don't need permission to talk about anything. We talk about what is on our minds immediately while it's happening. And I can feel that you carry that ethos very well, because with the updates that you're pushing, it's like weekly, bi-weekly, whatever you want to call it. It's literally every other day to me. My days run together. That you're pushing.
I feel you on that one.
So, thank you, dude. Is like we are around that time. We're rounding on like about an hour and 30. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about with BoostX? Like, is there anything that we didn't cover?
Yeah, actually, ironically. So we got our audit back for the crypto cash token, the crypto transfer light token that we're working towards integrating. Yay, we were waiting on the audit on that for a while. Well, we were waiting on a couple different parties, but it was a process to get that secured, and we've got that. And so now we're hammering on the suggestions, and I mean, it seemed by and large good to go, but there are most definitely some things that could probably be improved a little bit here and there to just kind of, I guess, dot every I and whatnot. But
yeah, they're asking for some redundancy in some places, and then like you can fine tune it this way, and
pretty much.
Yeah.
They got to give me something to do, right? So if they just say it's perfect, then I'm like, well, I guess I didn't need you after all, right?
Exactly,
so it's like, I can understand that, though. But so we're working towards updating that and then getting that out there and obviously re-audited and quality assured again through some on testnet testing. So we'll be doing testnet testing again with that newer version, and then once assuming all good there, then we'll be working towards implementing that in BoostX, so users will be able to start mining for crypto cash while they're boosting, and then subsequently stacking that crypto cash to earn yield from all the other boosters that are boosting. So yeah,
we're nuts, dude. It's coming
the
together.
flywheel there is going to get insane when that happens.
Congrats on getting your audit back. I know that has been one of those things that you have been waiting for, so you could start talking about crypto cash a little bit more, getting into like, we got into the process 1 or 2 times, but like once you get you hone everything in for crypto cash and then get that re-audit back, and then like you're fully through this auditing process, it's going to be a rocket, just like BoostX. So the way you're integrating everything, dude, big congrats. All the work that you're doing is going to come to fruition, and thanks. If nobody's ever fucking told you that, thank you for building what you're building, because it is fucking important.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Any other last words, final vibes that you want to put out into the ecosystem, brother?
I would just like to say that I did all this because I wanted to see this change. So if nothing else, just build the change you want to see. Follow your goals and your dreams and whatnot, and give it a chance. I mean, what the hell do you have to lose? You only got one fucking life, right? So fucking give it a shot. Jesus.
Hell yeah. I think you might just have inspired somebody. If not me, you always get me pumped when you say it. Build the change. Thank you, Crypto Dude. I hope that you have a very, very blessed night. And, I look forward to the next update, next night, DeOrganized Nightly. You're always welcome. Regardless if you have alpha or not, you always have good takes. And you're my guy. So come through anytime.
Right on, man. And thanks for having me. Have a good night, man.
You too, brother.
Later.
And this has been another based episode of DeOrganized Nightly, where we bring you the alpha, fresh and hot off the presses. Tonight, we talked a little bit about BoostX, talked a little bit about Hermetica and how you can open a futures position directly on a DEX, which is the Bellar Perp DEX, using USDH, Hermetica's first Bitcoin-backed stablecoin, and earn 5% for holding a futures position on Bitcoin. It's wild. Being paid to open a long and hold a position is crazy. Getting like weekly rewards paid straight to your wallet for holding a position, nuts. This is a decentralized, permissionless environment, and people are building the change here on Stacks. Bitcoin DeFi is going to be on Stacks. You guys get with the change. Follow the main Stacks handle. Follow DeOrganized BTC on X and stay in the know. I'm your boy GP with DeOrganized Media. You guys have a blessed night. Peace.